Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to 168 Hours, your weekly roundup of the top local stories. I'm Idham Naim, your host for the evening. Stay tuned. President Dr. Mohammad Muizz lauds the unwavering unity of the Maldivian people as the nation's most beautiful and encouraging characteristic, particularly in times of national crisis.
He made the remarks in an address commemorating National Unity Day, which also marked the 21st anniversary of the catastrophic Indian Ocean tsunami that struck the islands on 26 December 2004. The president began his address by paying tribute to the lives lost in the disaster, offering prayers for the eternal peace of those who perished. He extended his wishes for success to every family that suffered loss and damage, acknowledging their courageous efforts to rebuild their lives in the aftermath of the tragedy. Reflecting on the national response to the emergency, President Muizz stated that the Maldivian people have, for hundreds of years, set a global example by standing strong as one to save and better the nation. The president outlined vital lessons learned from the disaster, including the importance of reliance on faith, the social benefits of mutual aid in hospitality, and the critical need for sustainable national development planning. He also emphasized the value of constant preparedness for emergencies and maintaining friendly international relations. He concluded that such unity is the essential foundation for realizing national dreams and building a happy, prosperous, and secure society, praying for Allah to continue blessing the Maldives with wisdom and fraternal bonds.
The government decides to increase the financial assistance provided to single parents to $195 per child, in line with President Dr. Mohammad Muizz's presidential pledge.
Addressing the financial difficulties faced by single parents in raising their children was a key pledge in President Dr. Mohammad Muizz's election manifesto. In October this year, the president announced that the allowance would be increased to $195 from next year. In line with this pledge, the regulations on the single-parent allowance program has now been amended accordingly and gazetted. Under the previous regulations, single parents received an allowance of $65 per child with a maximum monthly payment of $649. However, with the new amendment, single parents with up to 4 children will now receive $195 per child, amounting to $778 per month for families with 4 children. Under the new rule, the maximum monthly allowance will be $973, amounting to $11,676 per year. According to figures released by the Maldives Bureau of Statistics on World Children's Day, 5,443 individuals are currently registered for single parent allowance through the National Social Protection Agency and SPA.
In a major step towards strengthening mental health and disability care across the Maldives, President Dr. Mohammad Muizz announces a comprehensive national project to train 250 local therapists.
The ambitious initiative, spearheaded by the Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development, aims to address the critical shortage of specialized therapeutic services in rural and undeserved regions. Scheduled to commence in January, the program will equip Maldivians with professional skills in speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, and psychotherapy, fields vital for supporting children and adults with developmental and psychological challenges. Currently, access to these essential services remains limited outside the capital, placing a heavy burden on families who often seek costly treatments away from home. With the National Social Protection Agency and SPA reporting a staggering $804,150 spent on therapy last month alone, including treatment for 342 children under 18 and 17 adults, the government emphasized the urgency of building local capacity. Behavioral therapy remains the most utilized service, accounting for $226,977 in expenditure.
Minister of Education Dr. Ismail Shafiu states, as part of a government initiative to modernize educational infrastructure, 30 buildings will be renovated and utilized by next school year.
Every year, the Ministry of Education carries out several projects enhancing educational facilities for the next academic year. As the school year begins in January for the first time in 4 years, the Ministry of Education is taking measures to improve conditions for both students and educators. In an interview with PSM News, the Minister of Education has cited that President Dr. Mohammad Muizza's administration is developing educational infrastructure on a landmark scale. Extensive financial investments were made with $1.94 million spent on maintenance and development in the first year and $4.53 million spent in 2025 alone. Minister Shafiu stated that $1.92 million have been allocated for the Cool Schools project, which aims to install air conditioning in all classrooms and staff rooms of government schools. This initiative will be carried out under contractor financing with an allotted budget of $3.56 million. He further stated that provisions have been made to repair and maintain walls, roofs and ceilings, and that many schools require extensive repairs due to neglect over long periods of time. Due to the increase in population of Hulumale Phase 2, more schools are planned to be constructed in this area. According to Minister Shafiu, one such example is Shahid Ali School, which will be inaugurated next year with 1,800 students given placements. So far, a minimum of 4 schools have been proposed for specific locations in Hulumale. The minister has stated that the next phase of the plan is to find contractors to carry out these works.
President Dr. Mohammad Muizza announces a suite of new measures dedicated to the development of small and medium enterprises (SMEs) set to take effect from January 2026.
The announcement was made via a social media post detailing the outcomes of recent high-level government discussions. The government's intensified focus on SMEs follows a pivotal meeting on the 17th of December where the president convened with a large number of local business owners. The forum provided a platform for entrepreneurs to voice the administrative and developmental challenges hindering their growth. In direct response to these concerns, this week's cabinet meeting resulted in several key decisions. President Muizza declared that the next 2 years will be dedicated to implementing special measures to promote the sector shaped by the issues raised by the business community. While full details are to be released by relevant agencies, the president confirmed the January implementation timeline. Demonstrating a commitment to immediate action, the government has already enacted changes to ease import logistics. Upon recommendation from the meeting, the demurrage period for imported goods has been extended from 80 to 124 hours, and 24-hour customs clearance has been arranged, a reform already implemented by the Maldives Customs Service. This initiative builds on existing governmental efforts to empower SMEs, including the introduction of the Trademark Act and the Intellectual Property Protection Act. Additionally, a partnership with the global e-commerce platform Alibaba, facilitated through Authentic Maldives, has already granted 400 local businesses access to international markets. The government also highlighted the success of this year's record-breaking National Productivity Exhibition, underscoring its strategy to forge both domestic and foreign market opportunities for Maldivian entrepreneurs.
The government announces that large-scale land reclamation for Hulumale Phase 3 is progressing rapidly and is on schedule to be completed by 20th January 2026, with Rasmala reclamation to be completed by April 2026.
The announcement was made by the Minister of Construction, Housing and Infrastructure, Dr. Abdullah Muttalib, during a press conference detailing his ministry's ongoing projects. According to the minister, out of the total 63 hectares of land to be reclaimed, 47 hectares have already been dredged. To expedite the final phase of work, the government has deployed 2 large dredgers, including Boskalis train suction hopper dredger, which began operations on the 28th of November. Following the the completion of dredging, the process to hand over land registries is set to begin in January. During the press conference, Minister Muttalib outlined the government's housing philosophy, stating that priority is being placed on constructing 3-room units to provide families with a comfortable living environment rather than smaller 1- or 2-room accommodations. He emphasized that all government housing projects are designed for maximum public convenience. In a related update, the minister confirmed that the even larger Rasmale reclamation project is slated for completion by April 2026. So far, over 215 hectares of the planned 1,100 hectares have been dredged using 3 dredgers operating at different sites. Once finished, development will proceed according to the Rasmale master plan, which envisions an eco-city with full municipal infrastructure, he said, adding that the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOUs, for essential water and sewage systems are already in place.
Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif describes the Maldives national radio broadcaster Divihiraj Jege Adu as a cornerstone of public trust and national unity, praising its long-standing role in delivering accurate and truthful information to the Maldivian people.
Speaking to the broadcaster on the occasion of its 63rd anniversary, the Vice President said Divihiraj Jege Adu has, for more than 6 decades, provided an indispensable national service, strengthening social cohesion and contributing positively to the well-being of citizens across the country. He paid tribute to the broadcaster's past and present leadership and staff, noting that its enduring credibility has been built on a consistent commitment to integrity, accuracy, and public interest in its content. Reflecting on the broadcaster's personal impact, Vice President Latif recalled how his passion for football was sparked by listening to radio commentaries aired by Divihiraj Jege Adu, an experience that later drew him to a wider range of its programs. He credited the broadcaster with raising public awareness on key national issues through informative delivery of its content. Looking ahead, the Vice President stressed the importance of embracing technological innovation, urging the national broadcaster to strengthen its digital platforms and adopt modern formats to ensure its reach and relevance for audiences of all ages. As the Maldives' oldest broadcast institution marks its 63rd anniversary, the Vice President said its voice remains as vital today as it was at its founding by informing, uniting, and reflecting the nation it serves.
In a move to ensure transparency and editorial independence, the Minister of Youth, Empowerment, Information and Arts, Ibrahim Wahid, assures that the government will play no role in the allocation of state funds to private media outlets.
During a press conference held at the President's office, Minister Ibrahim Wahid clarified that the process has been entirely delegated to the Maldives Media and Broadcasting Commission, MMBC, the industry's independent regulatory body. According to the minister, the MMBC has identified a list of 41 eligible media outlets and established the necessary procedures for fund distribution. Acknowledging previous criticism, the minister stated he accepts reports that the ministry's initial handling of the process was suboptimal, leading to the decision to transfer full responsibility to the Commission. He stated that his ministry now acts solely as an intermediary, forwarding the MMBC's finalized list and payment instructions directly to the Ministry of Finance and Planning without any additions or alterations. To ensure full public transparency, the minister has also requested a detailed breakdown from the MMBC, specifying the amount each outlet is set to receive alongside the criteria used for allocation. The Financial Assistance Program, a key campaign pledge of President Dr. Mohammad Muiz, aims to promote and support a vibrant private media sector. A total of $1.8 million, equivalent to 0.1% of the state budget, has been earmarked for this initiative this year.
In a landmark move to boost sustainable economic growth, the government signs an investment agreement with Crystal Holdings Private Limited for the development of the Isla Sustainable Township project, the first under the Special Economic Zone SCZ framework.
A special signing ceremony was held at the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, where Minister Mohammad Saeed represented the government and Peter Christic, CEO of Project Isla representing Crystal Holdings, signed on behalf of the investor. Minister Saeed emphasized the transformative potential of the project, stating that it would elevate the national economy by creating new income opportunities for locals and attracting global investors. He highlighted that the township to be built in Shaviani Atoll would strengthen the tourism sector by generating employment, prioritizing environmental protection, and utilizing 60% renewable energy. Christic expressed gratitude for the government's investor-friendly policies, praising the Maldives as a reliable destination for foreign investment. The $790 million project, set for completion by 2028, will feature world-class sustainable infrastructure, positioning the Maldives as a pioneer in eco-conscious urban development in the Indian Ocean. This initiative marks a significant step in the nation's economic diversification and commitment to green growth.
Maldives National Defense Forces Welfare Company, also known by its acronym CIVEC, and the Ministry of Sports, Fitness and Recreation signs an agreement to develop sports infrastructure in 9 different regions throughout the Maldives.
The agreement was signed by Minister of State for Sports, Fitness and Recreation Mohammad Dilshan Abdullah and CIVEC Managing Director Colonel Ahmad Zubair. Under this agreement, 2 projects which are set to be carried out in Alif Dal Atoll, namely the changing of the turf for the Femfushi futsal pitch and the creation of a handball court at Omadu. In addition to this, a futsal ground will be constructed in Kamadu, Ba Atoll and Fulidu, Vava Atoll, and a multi-purpose volley court and futsal pitch will be built in Darambudu, Fafa Atoll. Also, fence repairs will be carried out for Kandukuludu, Gaf Alif Atoll. Also, a swimming track built for Diddu, Ha Alif, and a football ground created for Makunudu, Ha Dal, and Veva in Mim Atoll. Furthermore, a lighting system will be set up for the football ground in Nellaidu, Ha Dal. 9 projects have been signed for Noon Atoll, the creation of a multi-purpose ground for handball and futsal in Holodu, Lohi, and Velidu, a futsal pitch in Kandikuludu, a football ground in Magudu, outdoor volleyball court in Manadu and Lohi, as well as a fixed lighting system for Lohi and Miladu football grounds. The development of the Maldives sports sector remains a top priority of the government, displayed by the many initiatives to construct sports infrastructure assigned to different companies.
President Dr. Mohammad Moise establishes the Maldives Zakat House to operate under the Ministry of Islamic Affairs in accordance with Article 11A of the Zakat Act.
The move follows the implementation of the Zakat Act, under which the Zakat House that previously operated within the ministry has been formally dissolved and reconstituted under a new legal framework. The Zakat Act sets out a comprehensive system for the payment, administration and distribution of zakat in the Maldives in line with Islamic principles, with an emphasis on transparency and effective management of zakat funds. The legislation was passed by the People's Majlis and ratified by the President on 6 December 2025. It came into force on 1 January 2026. In a statement issued under Directive Number 01/2026, the President's office confirmed the formal establishment of the Maldives Zakat House under the provisions of the Act.
For Maldives, 2025 has been a landmark marked by transformative developments across governance, economy, health, tourism, and international relations.
The year began with the full implementation of the Maldives-China Free Trade Agreement, the nation's first boosting bilateral trade with duty-free access to key markets. President Dr. Mohammad Moise launched an unprecedented series of nationwide island visits, engaging local councils, launching development projects, and inaugurating the Bank of Maldives BML ATM project to ensure banking access in all islands. In a significant move toward financial inclusivity, the government raised the travel debit card limit for Umrah pilgrims to $1,750. The national carrier Maldivian welcomed its first wide-body A330 aircraft, enhancing air connectivity. A major police infrastructure expansion was initiated, with new stations set for 75 islands, while a historic generational tobacco ban was announced, prohibiting tobacco sales to anyone born after 2007. The Maldives established its first-ever embassy in Turkey, signaling growing diplomatic outreach. On 9th May, the government launched Maldives 2.0, an ambitious digital transformation initiative aimed at modernizing public services and curbing corruption. Key infrastructure milestones included the opening of the new international terminal at Valana International Airport (VIA), capable of handling 7 million tourists annually, and the redeveloped Hanimadu International Airport, set to boost northern tourism. The year also saw the launch of the Makkah Route Initiative, streamlining Hajj and Umrah travel, and the introduction of the Hia Wahi Finance of Housing scheme, offering 25-year, 5% Islamic Sharia-compliant loans. President Moise inaugurated the first airport in Mimu Atoll and a new patriotic youth service, while historic diplomatic visits from Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sri Lankan President Anurakkumara Dissanayake strengthened regional ties. In social welfare, the Hafiz allowance was increased to $259.40, and the basic food import list was expanded to include fresh produce. Addu City saw administrative changes after a referendum led to the separation of Hulutu and Midu Islands from the city council. The year also saw Segment 1 of the Borutakuru-Fano-Magu expansion inauguration, marking progress in the infrastructure project awarded to the Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC. The newly widened 130-meter stretch near the Shahid Hussein Adam building features modern drainage systems and improved road canals. National ID card printing services was launched for Maldivians living in Sri Lanka, enabling citizens to obtain identification cards through the Maldives High Commission. Following Sri Lanka, Malaysia, the service is set to expand to the UK, streamlining documentation for the Maldivian diaspora. The year concluded on a humanitarian note, with PSM's Maldivians with Ceylon telethon raising over $800,000 for flood-stricken Sri Lanka. Maldives was named World's Most Popular Destination 2025, remains a defining year of progress, innovation and national renewal for the Maldives.
That's it for the evening. Thank you for watching 168 Hours. Have a good day.